Piper, and I will be doing my project on Dagestan. Dagestan is a republic in southwestern Russia, in the North Caucasus, and it lies between the Greater Caucasus Mountains and the Caspian Sea. The name Dagestan comes from Turkish and Persian roots, Dag meaning mountain in Turkish, and Stan being a Persian suffix meaning land of. So Dagestan means land of the mountains. The capital is Makhachkala. The region includes rugged mountain terrain, valleys, and a coastline out in the Caspian Sea. Some parts are remote and difficult to access. The population is about 3.1 million. It's very ethnically and linguistically diverse. There's over 30 ethnic groups that live there in many different languages. According to the Constitution of Dagestan, both Russian and the languages of the peoples of Dagestan are official. There are 14 written languages recognized and used for official documents like constitutions. Many people are also multilingual. Older or rural people may speak mostly native languages, but Russian is widely used, especially in cities. There is also a regional variety of the dialect that can differ between Dagestani Russian, influenced by the local languages. As an example, Vatsok versus Brat meaning the same thing, but you'll see them used differently and interchangeably. Major groups include the Avars, which is the largest, Dargins, Kumuks, Lezgins, Laks, Tabarsarans, Rutruls, and etc. None of the groups form a majority, so the population is very mixed. There are various religious communities, including Muslims, Christians, Jewish. The predominant faith is Islam. Most people in Dagestan are Sunni Muslims, which is 90.7%. In many rural or mountain areas, traditional forms of social organization, such as elders and local assemblies, are still respected. Muslims in Russia are about 10 to 15% of the population. Other regions with very high Muslim populations include Tatarstan and Dagestan. The Muslim population is relatively young and has a higher fertility rate than the average, so there's a projected increase in its share of the population. Russia is using its Muslim majority regions and Muslim populations to strengthen its economic and diplomatic ties with the broader Islamic world. Organization of Islamic cooperation countries such as countries in the Middle East and Central Asia. This can lead to more investment, trade partnerships, and infrastructure projects. Islam is increasingly visible in public life, such as its mosque, religious holidays, cultural festivals, and religious educations. Regions with Muslim majorities have their own traditions, languages, and arts. Various Dagestani khanates and regions were gradually incorporated into the Russian Empire in the early 19th century. Specific examples are the Derbent in 1806, Kurin by 1811, and Kazikuma by 1820. After the Russian Civil War in 1921, Dagestan was organized as an autonomous republic under Soviet rule. Russia's interest in Dagestan goes back to the early 18th century. Under Peter the Great around 1722, Russia launched military campaigns in Dagestan. He also built a fortress on the Sulak River and received the keys to the Derbent from some Dagestani rulers. This symbolized submission or request to become part of Russia. The Treaty of Gulistan was signed in 1813 between Russia and Persia, and it was a key turning point. Under this treaty, Persia officially recognized Russia's territorial claims that included southern Dagestan as part of the Russian Empire. But formal treaties did not end resistance. Many highland communities resisted Russian rule, particularly under the leadership of Imam Shamil. There was a long period of the Caucasian War, roughly 1817 through 1864, during which these communities waged war against Russian armies. The process of full control stretched across decades. Even after treaties, many areas were only loosely controlled until Russian military campaigns subdued resistance. By the 1840s and 1850s, with the defeat of Shamil in 1859, much of what had resisted was brought into firm control. Norvis is an ancient spring festival that marks the vernal equinox, typically around March 21st through 22nd. It's one of the oldest holidays celebrated in the East. In Dagestan, people celebrate Nowruz by lighting bonfires and jumping over the fires. This is symbolic by putting away old troubles and ushering in renewal, health, and purity for the new season. In villages like Savnava and in cities like Makal Makalchkala, there are communal celebrations, which those can include special meals the guests are invited to, and people eat a lot of traditional delicacies. Customs may include traditional divisions, such as sitting separately by gender at some events. And it is also important making sure that guests are treated well and honoring hospitality. Some small local tensions have occurred over how to handle different ethnic groups. Traditions in Nowruz, as it is celebrated by many of Dagestan's people. In Dagestan, the Muslim clergy and local leaders work with the government to keep people united. Even though there are many ethnic groups, people often feel they are Dagestani, Muslim, and Russian at the same time. But there are still debates over things like which language children should study, who gets political power, and how much ethnic traditions are preserved.